This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Oh shit, we're recording. Fucking A. That's what I thought too.
When I heard them say the presumption of innocence is reserved for people who are innocent.
Yeah.
That's like the new goddamn Progressive commercial. It's not lactose, it's milk.
This whole thing, it made my head cry.
Yeah.
It made my head cry. And then they convicted him of murder.
Yeah, 3
And felon possessing a firearm.
Well, it's because he.
Why?
Oh no, he wasn't on probation or anything.
Right. What
He
felony?
was exonerated.
Yeah, he was
From
exonerated.
What felony?
What felony? I didn't even think about that.
He
'cause
did previous DUIs and such.
Yeah, but no,
Fel-
those are.
DUIs aren't a felony in Wisconsin. They
But
sure as hell
he
weren't
had a
in
record
85.
before that. Actually, I only watched one episode,
He
but
ran his
isn't
cousin off the road.
the cat incident, wasn't that
Oh
a felony?
yeah.
Was that felony?
I don't know if it was a felony. I forgot about that one though.
Animal
Was the
cruelty,
cat
was it?
incident?
He tossed a cat on a fire or something like
Yeah.
that.
Tossed it over the fire and it went.
And it kind of.
Well, they had poured gas and oil on it.
Oh, so yeah. it
Oh,
kinda-
well, okay.
And then they threw it over the fire and it lit up.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't think
is
that
that a
was
terrible
felony,
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what serial killers do. They torture animals. That's the first sign. Just saying.
They
Ooh,
torture
shit.
a lot of animals. That was
Yes,
one.
yes, they do a lot. It's a the reoccurring
And
theme. With
they
it.
don't say that it was a pet. It could have been a stray.
Could have been a stray.
Salvage yard.
No, he in fact said
Was it the family cat?
it was the family cat.
Okay.
Okay.
The one episode I watched,
Okay.
he said it was the family cat.
Right.
I got 10
Family
hours
cat.
of this shit up in here.
Yeah.
It's hard to sort through.
I got 10 hours of this shit and then like 36 hours of Reddit.
Yeah. Fucking A.
So it's hard.
So basically, it comes down to
We're not saying
He
he's
needs a new
innocent.
trial.
We're not saying he's guilty. Well, somebody already said he's guilty.
actually
Well, he
how
had a
did you
shitty
even give a
fucking
guy
trial.
a new trial after that?
You
After
can't.
that,
You can only
debacle.
get it with the appeals. That's it.
Well,
You can't have a new trial on the same
Sure you could.
case.
You could vacate the previous. You could say that there was judicial
So what's the
malfeasance.
difference between that and double jeopardy? Is you're choosing to have it tried?
Double,
again?
yeah.
Double jeopardy is you can't be punished for the same crime twice.
No, you can't be
What's
tried.
The, yeah,
Try.
what's-
Because if you're found innocent,
But if they vacate the first one, it's like
Okay.
the first trial never occurred.
Okay, gotcha.
and actually they can try it for the same crime with new evidence.
If you were-
Right, well, because it's a different crime then.
Yeah, so they found him guilty of the murder,
No.
felony weapons, and then there was one that they,
They,
actually
they
didn't
found him not guilty of mutilating a corpse,
because
There's no evidence.
no
that
evidence
he
of
did
it.
except that the corpse was obviously burned
Burned.
and the bones were shattered.
But
So
there's
that's
no proof that he did it.
And then
There's no-
and then there one, but then,
There's
then
just
the
as much
point is
proof
there's
he
no
did
proof
that.
that he did the murder.
right. There's just as much proof he did that as there is he did the murder.
Yep. That part I didn't understand.
Now
I
here's
didn't get that.
here's where I don't know. Did you watch True Detective? You know that almost every piece of land around the Avery salvage yard is owned by the same company.
What? It's owned by GE?
Nope.
The
Koch
Koch
brothers?
No. No. It's owned by an LLC that shares its officer, because I don't want to say the name, not because I'm implying that there may be some land thing involved.
Yeah.
That's why I asked True Detectives, because that was all about land. But the Avery Yard sits in the middle of all of these runoff or quarries.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. 'Cause,
And there's a company that owns all those quarries. The officer of that company, the registered agent of that company, is an officer of another company based out of Green Bay. There's a vice president of another company based. Hang on. Okay, there's 3 companies involved. One is a Green Bay-based company. One is and it's an LLC that was fairly recently formed, like in the last 10 years. Then there's an LLC that actually runs the land. Okay, and those two companies share officers with a third company. One's the president, one's the vice president of a company.
Okay.
That's also an LLC registered.
Okay.
And I'm just sitting there going, because that was one of the Reddit threads where they're like, I wish we knew who owned this land. I wish we knew who owned this land.
Public
I wish we
record.
knew. And I was like,
Fucking look that shit up.
did you guys look
Google.
here? Well, I pulled up GIS.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
And you click on it and it tells you who the registered owner of the lot
You
is.
tell you the tax parcel number.
Right. And then once you got the tax parcel
Then
number,
it's looking up names.
then I threw that name into the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institution, where every corporation that operates in the state has to file yearly. That gives you the name of the registered agent and their address. Then I Googled the registered agent and the address, and hey, this agent or this address matches the address for this company. So I DFI'd that company. Oh, that's this guy. Hey, those two guys are both officers in this third company. Huh.
Yeah, but the only thing that really ties them to the case is the few bones that were scattered with the animal bones.
I'm just
Wait,
just
are you
it was a
saying
Reddit
these
thread.
guys are guilty?
He's not saying
No,
that.
I'm not saying that they're.
He's just saying they're.
I'm just saying it's
that's-
interesting.
They're
Point
kind
of interest.
tertiary to the case. They're just kind of there.
Sounds to me like you're saying they're guilty.
No, I personally think it was Bobby,
Cousin,
Bobby,
your brother.
Bobby Dassey, and Scott Tydick, because the two people who alibied themselves and both went deer
who
hunting
could only alibi themselves.
and both lied on the
alibi
stand.
each other, rather. Yeah, they both lied on the stand.
Like the defense was like, or the prosecution was like, he had a huge bonfire in the backyard,
Yeah, 10 feet tall.
somewhere between 3 and 10 feet tall. And
That's
I,
a big difference.
Yeah.
first off, there is, but second of all, drive past Tim's on a Friday. If all you need is a 10-foot flame to be guilty of murder, do you know how many people Tim's kill? 'Cause there's times you drive past. There's times you drive past. There's flames you can see over the fence.
Yeah.
Well, and then later on, I believe.
Have you ever gone camping with Dan or Jack?
I believe his testimony was the first time it was 10 feet tall when they got his statements.
3 feet. The
And-
first time it was 3.
Oh, it was the
second
other way
time
around. Sorry, it was 3. And then when he was on the stand, it was 10 feet
so
tall.
high I could see it over the garage.
Yep. Yeah, and they were the two that
They've
both
been-
went deer hunting and could only alibi
They've
each
been
other.
fires so fucking high and warm here that I've had to spray the house down and the siding
So it didn't
started,
burn.
siding started to steam
Well, and then
and
they
shit.
said he poured gasoline on the fires and accelerant. So
Yeah, so.
I do that just to get the wood burning.
Yeah, fucker. That's not even, that's a starter. Is what
Jack
that is.
uses white gas because he doesn't think lighter fluid is effective enough.
You guys might want to stand back a little bit.
Yeah, take a couple.
I've been
couple-
soaking, I've been
Holy
soaking
shit.
that board in white gas for an hour.
With your fire lights and it looks like Hiroshima.
So, he used gasoline as an accelerant, and
Yeah.
there's people from all over the country now who've seen this, and they're like,
Yeah, and that's the thing now. Now, just more than Wisconsinites are talking about it.
but that's where some of the things come into play, where they're like, oh my God, that's a big fire. And I'm like,
Yeah.
apparently you need to go camping with the Schultz boys.
Shit.
Anybody, really.
Anyone, yeah. You toss a couple pellets and some gasoline on a fire, you got, especially in a
Remember
fucking
going with,
junkyard.
Downs.
Mm-hmm.
That made any Schultz boy fucking fire look
That
tiny.
motherfucker would build teepees taller than I was at the time. No, obviously I was shorter because I was a kid. But
He made our fires look like tiki candles.
and we're fire bums.
Yeah. I'm not saying we play with fire, but we wet the bed quite a bit.
And then they're like, and who just walks over because somebody has a fire? This guy.
There's a fire, there might be some beer and free food.
If my neighbors were here, they'd be like,
Yep.
Even camping. Walking through a campground, you see somebody with a fire. Hey, how you doing?
That's human. That's just a human instinct that, hey, fire. Well, go to fire.
No,
Fire,
apparently
fire,
only in
fire.
Wisconsin. Only in
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin it happens.
Well, they were out drinking beer and shooting and burning stuff.
Yeah.
Again, Wisconsin.
Stay in Wisconsin.
It's called Tuesday.
Nothing better to fucking do.
If it wasn't only 20 degrees outside and the wood wasn't covered in snow, we'd
Yeah.
probably be sitting around a fire right now.
Fuck it.
You have no idea the sheer amount of empty shell cases.
Oh, really?
I think I
For
do.
22? It's
Yeah,
22
it's
cases.
22.
They're cheap.
Your brother and I, one day, went through thousands and thousands of rounds of 22, AK, anything, just because we were bored. I literally took the day off of work
We go down
because to
the
go
ranger.
target shooting, and we went out by the Wife's Uncle's. Had a 50 by 50 tarp, him on one side, me in the fucking middle, and just boom, boom, and just
Just shoot.
lifted it up and dumped the tarp in the 5-gallon bucket.
When we
You just get bored. What do you do around
Well,
here?
yeah.
the cocksucker's bachelor party, we had 30 pounds of spent brass for one day out shooting.
Was that your the same JFK shooting experience?
Yeah. We tried to recreate the JFK assassination to see if Matt could shoot fast enough to do it. Because if he can't, nobody did.
There are people who actually have been able to,
Replicate the
Recreate
number
the
of
shot.
shots,
in the amount of time, but,
but
not
not
in,
the
accuracy.
not
magic.
accuracy and not accuracy and not with a moving target.
Oh,
Yeah, Matt got close with a because we had a cantaloupe wrap with cellophane 11 times.
because apparently that's what the
Because that's what the FBI did before they had ballistic shell, and then we towed it behind a mini bike at 11 miles an hour, and then shot at it. So when you tell me, oh, people don't do that, there was somebody on the mini bike driving,
I was just about to say, yeah. There was
and Matt was shooting with a 357
great
Ultra Mag.
individual.
So
But he was going away.
He's probably a bit away.
That's, who was a dumbass on the mini bike? Tell me it was you. Go ahead, tell me it was you.
no,
I mean, not that I don't have faith in cocksucker's shooting ability.
Yeah.
He's the one guy that I'd probably
Oh, he
hold a
does.
cigarette and say, "Go ahead,
I
knock
would-
the cherry
I
off."
would have driven the mini bike. I admit that. I would have driven it if it was offered to me because
Someone
I
else
have
thinks
the
about it.
utmost faith in him, but I am not the one who drove.
You just take one bump. just one bump, and you got a $1 million wound. You know, got shot in the buttocks.
I got shot in the butt.
You want to see
Oh
it?
my god. Yeah, so that these things are just
Yeah. I'm not saying whether or not he was guilty or not. He was proven guilty, but the trial was bullshit.
well, I don't think he and that's the other thing.
Proven guilty.
Proven beyond a reasonable
Well,
doubt.
that was the thing. For
reasonable doubt. How do they not have a reasonable
and is that what they had to
doubt?
prove?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then they're no. Well, that was one of the things they said in it that I first of all don't know how they got the information for, and second of all wasn't surprised based on the biased documentary I saw that when the jury first went in to deliberate, apparently seven thought innocent, 3 were guilty, and 2 were undecided when they first started deliberating. So they
the one
started
juror was
ahead of time.
dismissed, remember?
Oh, is that who told
I
them?
think.
Because I was wondering how the fuck they got that information, because that's not public. I don't think that's even
Well, the
something
defense
the
attorneys
lawyers
get
can
to,
ask.
yeah, they can ask.
They can ask afterwards. They can pull the jury when they come back with a verdict. But that was right when they first went in and they do the,
What-
all right, everybody, where do we stand right now? I don't know how you get that information other than that jury.
I think it was probably from the juror that
Okay,
was
that
dismissed.
makes sense then.
But none of the other jurors wanted to talk on camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see how. I really want him to be innocent. I will admit that I want him to be innocent because all intents and purposes, and even the judge said it looked like he really turned your life around. He was looking at a $36 million payday.
Yup.
Hey,
Why would you go fucking kill
If
somebody
they
if
can
you had
prove he didn't do this, $36 million is going to be a.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You just burn Manitowoc to the ground and forget about it. Then.
You might as well call Manitowoc
The thing is-
Avery Auto Salvage.
Yeah. Just buy a
If.
fucking pound. If yes.
But there was, well, that would be if he gets exonerated.
Yes.
He,
Oh, yeah.
I doubt he would get exonerated.
No.
But there are
You never know.
there is a petition. There would have to be new and compelling evidence.
Yes.
There would have to. There's a petition right now to try and get Obama to pardon him when he leaves office, because when the president leaves, they always pardon like
Yeah.
shit
A whole
ton
bunch
of
of
people.
people.
There's a petition to do that. I don't think that's the right course of action.
I don't
people
think
every
it's-
year at the end of the
Yeah.
year.
He always he did a big
Right.
group of non-violent criminals
Not
last
violent.
time.
But they always pardon people when they leave. That's when you pardon the people that you
Oh,
The ones that are controversial, yes.
Right. So there's a petition out there right now for that. I don't necessarily think that's the
I
right
don't think
move.
that's the right move.
And the reason I don't think it's the right move, and I don't think the Avery should think it's the right move either, because that
That doesn't say
A
that he's
pardon
not guilty.
doesn't say not guilty.
Yeah, that just
Right.
says you were forgiven.
But he
Yes.
deserves a new trial.
Yes, he does. Well, did they ended it with his case was going to go to the Supreme Court, or did they turn it
The
down?
Supreme Court turned it down.
Was it
Well, that was the first
Supreme
one.
Court or the Wisconsin Supreme
It's
Court?
Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Okay, so it wasn't the Supreme
Are you
Court.
Yes, the Wisconsin Supreme Court has turned it
for
down.
his second trial or his first one? Because his first one they shut down. They shot
Yeah,
down.
2 chances for.
Well,
Wisconsin.
no.
The
His
Wisconsin-
first case, his
Oh,
rape case.
Oh, his rape case.
The
No,
second
they
one
turned
they
down
did.
the second one.
I'm just checking
Yeah.
because you guys couldn't fucking remember the whole family cat thing, so I'm
Okay.
just double checking.
Yeah.
The family cat is heinous.
Yeah, it's a heinous. When did he do that? It was when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
I'm aware.
Well, he was
Like I
convicted
said,
in
see-
'85.
So
He was
he
40 something when he went in the second time. So take 20. It had to be before.
I
his
think he
20s.
was like 19, 18 or 19, I think.
And I'm not excusing it, but first of all, people who grow up in a rural
It
area.
was 19 because he was already married to his first wife.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because people who grow up in a rural area look at pets differently than people who don't.
Some, yes.
Mom looked at pets much differently than Dad did.
Yeah, but were they pouring oil and gas over it? and
No,
throwing
no,
it
I'm not
across the
saying that.
fire?
Well, and I'm not saying he's not a drunk redneck fuck who did dumb fucking things. But he paid his crime for that. He did his time for those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then some.
And then some.
Yeah.
So when they're
18
like,
extra years,
you
maybe.
have this history of crime. What? 20 years he hasn't done a goddamn thing because he's been in
He's been in
jail and was a
jail.
model prisoner.
Oh, yeah, it's true. I don't
You
think there was
think
any.
he could get time served for those 18 years?
He probably could, but he's life without parole, so on the
Yeah, it
murder
doesn't
charge, so
matter.
it doesn't matter.
Well, no, he's not going to live that long because life isn't life.
No, in Wisconsin,
Oh,
it
is
is
it?
not.
It's not 90 years or whatever it is. It's actually life. Okay.
What are your feelings on it, Paulie? I know you didn't watch the show, but what's your feelings on
I didn't watch the show.
what's your feeling on the Avery
But you
case
were
itself?
alive.
Well, it's like I said, if you read the book and you knew this other case with
Looks a
Mon
lot the
Files,
same.
and I think you can go back and look at a lot of other cases and see the same thing. I think when they railroad somebody, they railroad somebody. O.J. Simpson.
Well,
There's kind of a debacle of a case. At least that's the way it's portrayed.
I can't imagine a group of police officers getting in their head that someone committed a crime and then focusing on that person who's involved.
You mean like
Did you, Tim?
You mean like a cop saying, "We got you now, Kutska"?
Did you not see my sarcasm hashtag?
No, I did not see your sarcasm hashtag. Actually, I thought, where's he going? And I'm like, no, I can't believe he's fucking saying this shit.
there was something else that Kratz said in a Maxim interview, which I enjoyed. What the fuck was it? Part of it was the whole sweat thing. That there was sweat underneath the hood. What was it?
Sweat
He
DNA
said
on
one
the
other
body
thing
is
that was just
too
like,
easy to
oh
get.
yeah.
Especially if you think they planted blood.
Any DNA.
'Cause that's-
Oh, that was the thing. It seemed like they were alluding to at the end of the documentary, since it goes all the way to 2015, that they might resubmit that blood evidence for the EDTA test because possibly a new or a better test has come along for that. Because they were kind of alluding to that. It seemed like.
Well, the Innocence Project has agreed to take a look into the case.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, after the thing was released and said the Innocent Project refused.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And
In the
people are
documentary,
like,
it says they refused.
Hello, this
Oh,
is what
fuck,
you're
buddy.
for. Because they distance themselves from, you know what I mean?
They did after the first one.
No, it was created after the first. Or right at the end of the first one.
The Innocence Project got him out the first time, and then when he got arrested for Hallbach, they took him down off the website. They started distancing themselves from Stephen Avery in the first place. Because the Innocence Project is who tested the DNA that got him out. They're the ones that got him exonerated from the rape charge.
I thought it was actually two just separate lawyers that decided to take on the case for him.
Well, that's who took on his case. Those were just, and those weren't, they didn't just decide. He paid them
A lot.
They're like the best lawyers in
Well,
Wisconsin.
his parents paid him.
Well, yeah, sure. He didn't have money.
Well, then the judge wouldn't let him put up part of the salvage yard for bail
Yeah, I found
because
that.
they made his bail $500,000.
Well, and then they upped it to $750,000.
And then they upped it to $750,000, and they're like, "We have a thriving business and 40 acres of land. Can we put, Nope, it's got to be cash. Got to be cash bond."
Here's the thing. This is from what's his face, the prosecutor.
Ken Kratz.
Kratz. One thing making a murder doesn't address is motive. Why would Stephen Avery try to kill Teresa Hall? Avery said he left his anger in prison. That's not true at all. In prison, he created a diagram of a torture chamber, telling other inmates, quote, "I intend to torture and rape and murder young women," end quote.
But these other inmates were never brought to trial and never testified.
After his release, the judge decided not to allow that evidence. He said it was too prejudicial.
Okay,
It
the
sounds
judge
like they
allowed
couldn't get any of the inmates to actually say he said that. That's what I get from that.
the people in prison.
Oh, see, that's where I'm sure that
I'm sure you could find prisoners
if
who are
you
willing to
offer
say
an
that.
inmate,
sure you could, yeah.
you offer him a radio,
You offer him anything.
you offer him
Fucking
maybe an
Snickers bar
afternoon,
from the canteen.
we'll take you out to
And wait for
McDonald's in the afternoon, you go testify. They could get somebody to say anything.
Well,
All
and
they gotta
honestly,
do is ask them.
the whole dungeon thing, you drew a picture of where you were gonna torture. I know you've done it just from fucking
I was
D
gonna
and
say
D.
you're doing it for D&D, yeah. You definitely made
Even
it
just
work.
sci-fi shit.
Did-
Fucking, you know how many people in Hollywood?
Yeah, everybody who worked on the movie Saw.
Any Saw movie.
Yeah.
So
Saw
Rick,
3000. I
Well,
don't
there's
give
the
a
thing.
fuck.
Now, that's got to be made up because they could have easily gotten any inmate
They
to
easily
say
could have,
exactly
yes.
what they wanted them to say.
Well, I don't know if they even went that far because it says the judge said you couldn't even. It seems like the judge was just like, no, that's not.
Yeah,
Then there
because
was-
the judge knew if they can't get anybody to say that, because I mean, actually,
You need.
the reason why I say that they made it up on the spot sort of thing is because they could have easily made it up, told an inmate to say this,
True.
and imply to the inmate what this was about, and say, yeah, we'll get you radio.
Go ahead
We'll
and
take
say
you to
this
McDonald's when you
We'll
testify.
believe you. You're in jail. You're a criminal just like him.
I know exactly how it happened. So, Paulie,
Yeah.
tell me about the torture chamber that Stephen Avery drew while he was your
Tell me about the radio.
No,
you're
no,
gonna get.
you're not being honest with me, Paulie. What would your mother think?
My mother would say,
Hey.
ask him about the radio.
You want to know about torture chamber? I think you know.
I think you can prove it.
Well, and then Brendan Dassey's attorneys. Okay, so first the cops they pull him out of school to question him without his mother.
Yes, after his cousin said there was something wrong with him.
There
Yeah,
also
about
not in the
40 pounds.
documentary is the fact that those cops apparently took the Dassey family to a ski resort and out for pizza a couple of times.
That
Brendan.
seems a little fucking weird.
But then, so they arrest him. He gets a court-appointed lawyer, right? Court-appointed lawyer sends in an investigator to talk to him. The court-appointed lawyer, or the investigator says, write down your statement of what happened. He's videotaping the whole thing. So he writes it down, and it's something to the effect of, and I'm going to paraphrase, I got home from school, I went and checked the mail, I went in and played PS2 with my brother Blade, then I talked to my mom at 5, and then Uncle Steve called me at 7 to see if I wanted to go to a fire.
And then I went over the fire, and then my mom called me at Steve saying I had to be home by this time, and I was home by that time.
Yep, that's what it is.
That was his statement.
So the investigator
Nothing
goes,
about what's her face, Teresa.
there's nothing in here about Teresa Hallbaum. This isn't what you told the police. If you don't write down about Teresa, I can't help you. This is the defense attorney's investigator.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Court appointed.
Right, the public defender's
Well, and
investigator.
it's not. Yeah, and it's not your lawyer. I guess it can't be the lawyer in there at the time. But why the fuck is it an investigator, not
Well,
the
but
lawyer?
it's-
Lawyer, it should be
It should
in
be the
there.
fucking
Right.
lawyer.
But the invest-
I
so,
didn't get that.
So then he does this. He's like, why don't you draw a picture of him having sex with her here? Draw a picture of how he tied her to the
Well, I'll
bed.
say, why don't you draw a picture of her tied to the bed?
Make it bigger so we can all see it. tells him what to draw.
He's fucking straight up telling. He's leading him.
Then
That's
he
what he's
gets done
doing.
and he calls the attorney, and this is on camera.
Yeah.
Hey, Len. Yeah, we got a really good statement here. Do you want me to call the Manitowoc investigators? Okay, I'll give them a call. Do you want to be down here for that? Oh, you don't need to. Okay.
The kid's not even in handcuffs out of the room yet. The police officers are still getting him in the cuffs when the guy's on the phone there.
And then they call the investigators to tell him to come down and talk.
Sounds like a little bit insider.
And then the investigators show up and they're like, "Are
Wait,
your
you
attorneys?"
mean his public defender got him to make a statement
It
and
wasn't
then
his-
turned it over to...
It was inner investigator that the defender put in there.
That the
So
public
it's-
defender hired.
he's
a
supposed to
private
be helping him,
investigator.
yes.
Oh, a private investigator.
That the public defender hired.
Yes.
And that he got him to make a statement, and then instead of calling the public defender...
He did call the public defender, but he said, "Do you want me to call Manitowoc?" And the kid's first statement, which included nothing of the murder, he said wasn't good enough. You have to talk about the murder, and then made the kid draw pictures of what was.
Well, because the piece of paper he was writing on was a thing that said, "I, Brendan Dassey, am very sorry for this crime," or "I am not sorry for the," or sorry, "I'm sorry for this crime and will never commit it again," or "My name is Brendan Dassey and I'm not sorry for this crime and I may commit it again."
And check the above.
And write your name under which one applies, and then you have to write your statements. That was the.
And this is the
Yeah.
private
Well,
investigator.
it was because it was for not a plea deal, but I thought it was something like that because
The investigator they weren't trying for a.
because I don't know why it had the
So
I
I'm
am sorry
guilty
and I will.
or I'm guilty.
Right, and the
Yeah.
first thing the detective or the public defender gets assigned to the case, and of course the press is on him like stink on shit.
Yeah, of course.
So he walks up and he goes, they ask him about it, and what he should say is, "I haven't talked to my client yet," right? Because he hasn't talked to his client yet. What he said is, "What we have here is a young child of questionable mentality who was forced to do things by his uncle who, let's face it, can only be described as evil incarnate."
Yes, called him evil incarnate.
You just admitted your client is guilty
this is
before you ever...
Wait, this is Brandon
Brandon,
Dassey.
yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
well see, he's working, the public defender is working to get him off. He
But
doesn't
he
really
wasn't
give
working
a
to
shit.
get him.
The public defenders don't give a shit.
But he wasn't...
But
was
he
just-
wasn't carrying him. This is what he said that Stephen Avery did.
Right, but when he made the statement, they made Brendan write a statement showing what he had done.
Right.
What
His
what Steve
uncle
had done.
had done.
What he had
No, what he had
participated
helped
in
his
with
uncle
his
with,
uncle.
yes.
Right,
Sorry, not
they
maybe
made him
participated.
say what he participated with, and made him rewrite it until it included his participation.
Because they show him doing his statement and then
then-
adding to it, and then adding to it, and then drawing a picture on it.
Right, draw a picture of this here. Draw
Yeah.
a picture of how she was tied to the bed when you got in the room.
Yep.
And then they bring then they call in the investigators from County Metcalf and from the state, because the state criminal investigation bureau was involved too. That makes me feel good. And so they're like, "Well, your lawyer said you wanted to talk to us. What happened?" And he tells them the same. "I didn't do anything. Blah blah blah."
Yeah.
blah. And he's like, "You called us all the way down here to lie to us?
Alright.
Don't tell me you wasted our time." And he doesn't actually admit to anything, like anything serious.
And then most of his phone calls with his mom, I don't think the kid is smart enough to know that he's being recorded while he's in jail. All of his phone calls to his mom are essentially, "I just told them what they wanted to hear. I thought I would get out if I told them what they
They
wanted
told
to
me
hear.
I wouldn't be in trouble.
They
if
told them I
said
would
this."
get less
That's
trouble."
an adolescent. That's what they do to
Yeah.
children who they want to nail their parents on abuse or
Yep.
molestation or neglect.
Well, the cop then tells him, because he can't get him to write a new confession. He says, "You know, I'm going to tell your mom what you did. Do you think she'd rather hear it from me or from you? Maybe you should call her tonight and talk to her about it."
And he does.
He does, but he calls her and says, "I didn't do it."
I didn't do it.
And
I
asks
told
if,
them
asks if his dad will record WrestleMania for him.
I didn't do it. I told them exactly what they wanted to hear. I didn't do it. I just told them what they wanted to hear because they said I'd be in less trouble, or I wouldn't be in trouble.
Just fucking...
Yeah, the whole Brendan thing is like, no,
And
you
then-
just took advantage of a fucking retard.
And then
I'm
Brendan
sorry.
goes to court and he's like, "I want a different attorney." And the judge is like, why? He goes, because this attorney thinks I'm guilty and he's treating me like that.
And he didn't give him a new fucking
And
lawyer.
the guy goes, do you seem to get along? And Brendan's like, yeah, I guess.
Or do you get along with him? Do you
Can you
converse
talk
with
to
him
him?
while you talk
Does he
with
talk
him?
to you?
Yeah.
Then I see no reason why you should need a new attorney. Well, then, in the judge's defense, like a couple weeks later, a couple days later, whatever, he finds out that the attorney made the statement and then let him be questioned by police without him being present, and then dismissed
rid of him. to the judge's credit.
But didn't throw out any of the statements that were made beforehand.
Yeah.
Because he was under counsel.
His initial statement shouldn't be submissible at all.
Right.
I don't think it should, because he's fucking 16 and a parent or a lawyer wasn't there.
Or a child services advocate.
There was nobody there besides the people investigating. That's not
One
fruit of
kid,
forbidden tree. You can't fucking use that.
one kid and two investigators should not be allowed stuck in a room together.
Especially a kid with special needs.
I'm saying they shouldn't. I'm not saying they aren't.
Yes.
That's where I disagree with you. Yeah, I still blow to put Pat to the fire
In
pit.
the big pit, try to avoid all the bone fragments.
I don't see a problem with a 16 or 17-year-old kid being tried or being investigated for this, but a normal.
Yeah. Okay.
He
He's
is not.
No, he is below average intelligence. They make a very clear point of that. They say it in the trial. They say it whenever they're talking to people.
The thing is,
Stephen even says
legally,
he's not the smartest.
legally, if you're under 18,
I thought you said it was 16.
at 16 you can be tried as an adult in Wisconsin.
11, you can be tried as an adult in Wisconsin.
Okay. But if you're a minor, they have to notify your parents that you're being questioned. They can't just pull you out of school.
And apparently they did.
It doesn't matter if you're being questioned or not. They don't have to be there. Do you think mom and dad were there when I was questioned?
I think your mom and dad are foolish if they didn't fight that.
I had a public defender.
Dude, I'm telling you, when Kennedy,
I know.
when Kennedy found that body, the cop wanted to talk to her. I'm like, okay.
You gotta be there.
And then he's like, well, you don't have to be here. I'm like, the hell I don't.
Yeah.
And then he's like, your kid's not in trouble. And I'm like, that's fine, but there's nothing you're going to talk to her about that I'm not going to be there for, unless you want to call a child advocate down.
Yeah, and that's
Because if you want to ask my child if dad's abusing you, fine. Because my kids are going to say no because I don't abuse them. But then you get a child advocate down here because I may have experience. And I understand when I got questioned for
standing in the window.
somebody watching you.
Yeah.
when I got the time I got questioned and they accused me of a crime, I said to the guy, I think I need a lawyer. And he said, only guilty people need lawyers. And I said, I would have agreed with you an hour ago. And then he's like, why don't you just come down and take a polygraph? And I said, first off, those aren't admissible in court anyway, so that's just jerking around.
Yeah.
And second of all, I want a lawyer. And that's when Michelle came in, burst into the room and said, listen, you son of a bitch. You're a rotten son of a bitch. And a liar.
You were a rotten son of a bitch?
Not me.
Who was it?
The police detective who then lied about Tim's statement to the court.
Trust cops, people.
Dave
I wouldn't-
Cornelius.
I wouldn't
Oh,
go.
oh yeah.
I don't give a
I don't
fuck.
care.
I'll say it again. Cornelius. Maybe he's like Beetlejuice, because I tell you what, I'm not afraid. One cocksucker, I'll go back for. In fact, I saw him once in Algoma.
He's in charge now. Of the
Stop
Alabama
fucking,
contingent.
because he didn't live that far from mom and dad. And it was shortly after I got out, driving along, and he's in the back alley, and I went, motherfucker.
But see, there's an interesting thing.
Uh-huh.
I remember as a kid,
staring down.
cop
What are
behind
you
me.
gonna do? Public alley,
Yeah,
bitch.
what are you gonna do?
Cop behind me, not wearing my seatbelt. So I'm trying to get my seatbelt so I can put it on quick.
Yeah.
Driving with my knee then, because I need my hands to get to my seatbelt. And so I'm swerving a little bit. Red and blues come on. Son of a bitch. Pull the car over. Cornelius comes up to the car. Hey, Ben, I thought that was you. Yeah, it's me, Dave. Hey, I got those books you asked for in the back of the squad. You want them now? Yeah, sure, I'll take them. Okay. Were you drinking? No, I don't drink. I didn't think so. What were you doing? Trying to put on my seatbelt because you were behind me. Oh. Next time, keep your hands in the wheel. You won't swerve so much. Okay. I didn't call your plates in because I know your mom and dad have a scanner and I thought it was you. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Left. 2 years later, whole different fucking attitude. So don't tell me 18 million reasons can't change your attitude, because that was just, I want a promotion.
Yep.
That was significantly less than 18 million reasons.
Yeah.
18's a little high. Just saying. I understand 18 years in jail is nothing anybody wants to do or anything should do, but 18 million's a bit much.
It was $36 million dollars, $1 million for each year in jail, and 18 million in punitive damages because he was innocent and they had evidence and never tested it.
Okay.
And they actually surmise. You watched the whole first episodes. Did you see the sketch artist who drew the picture apparently was based on the 85?
Based on the picture that was already taken, or his already mugshots.
The one thing with how much money he gets, I don't have a problem with the 36 million. I don't.
Because you're wrongfully accused, son of a bitch.
You fucking ain't right. The one guy that got exonerated from the Mon Files case. You know how hard, if anybody followed that case and he didn't have an in to a place, do you know how hard it would have been for him to get a job? You know what I mean? Even Stephen Avery?
Who's going to hire him?
Right.
Well, and the thing is,
anybody who owns a business at that point or knows anybody from that time, it's going to be harder than shit.
Especially if he stayed in Manitowoc. Manitowoc, if he doesn't work at Avery Auto Salvage, he's not working.
Well, see, that was my thing. I'm like,
but he should get money.
He should.
Actually, no, he's
for the last 18 years.
Oh yeah, he's going up north.
And he should have got enough money to live comfortably for the rest of his life without a job. I'm not necessarily saying that number is $36 million.
Yes.
However, after taxes, I would not have a problem with it if it was $75,000 or $100,000 a year. Would have no problem with it.
Yeah. Well, and I want to say it was lower than that to start with. They started out with a smaller number than 36 million. It was only like 400K a year plus something else or something like that.
But the thing is, if you recognize that there is a conflict of interest so great that you need to call in a different county to investigate, then you know your ass shouldn't be there.
Yeah, it seems like Manitowoc should not have been involved at fucking all.
Well, not only that, but just the like from the first episode, his uncle, who was a cop, said this is horseshit, and his cousin, who called for him swerving off the road, was married to a cop. The cop that I got in trouble with, not Cornelius, Vanessa, because first off, don't leave your fucking garage door open. And it was 5 gallons of gas. Kiss my ass. That guy actually was suspended.
Back when gas was $1 a gallon.
Less than that, probably.
I was saying probably less than
but
that.
even
No, it was after I was driving.
Even then, he was suspended from being on the beat. He was a jailer. That cocksucker, if it wasn't for Flaherty, that fucking guy put my neck into a locker. Remember me? No. I'm the one he took the gas from. And in my head, I'm going, which one? But, you know what I mean? Just that one conflict of interest should have sent the fucking thing out the door.
Well, and the fact that it was the same cop that found the most incriminating evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was one of the Manitowoc police officers
Who
had been
involved.
deposed 3.5 weeks before.
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks.
Just ridiculous.
The whole thing fucking reeks. It's just what it is. He deserves another fucking trial.
Well,
Now after the documentary has now come out, you can't say that it's now not biased in the other direction.
right. Well, and the problem is now that the documentary's
it's
come
a
out, unfortunately,
World or a nationwide documentary now. So
but here's the catch-22. without the documentary, there
Is
would
that
be no
22 caliber or?
yes. Here's the caliber 22.
It's water under the fridge, Ben. Water under the fridge.
It's just a figure of speech, Tim. Not a rock surgeon. No, but here's the catch-22. Without the documentary, there would be no chance of him getting a new trial. But because of the documentary, now there's a new trial. There is no untainted jury.
Yeah.
Unless you
have Netflix.
Unless you ask for Netflix, you ask Netflix for a list of people, and then call a jury pool from outside of Wisconsin, because
Wisconsin's tainted. You
all
can't
that
take anybody from
inflammatory,
Wisconsin now.
because all those press releases, well, actually,
You could have said that about the O.J. Simpson case,
Yeah.
for that matter.
yes,
They
you
should
can.
have. Because everybody watched a slow motion, high speed
Oh,
chase.
everybody saw that shit.
You know what I mean?
It's slow down the highway, following the white Bronco.
So you can get in Wisconsin, but you're going to have to, and actually I think you can find jurors, but you need a judge who instructs the jurors that people have a presumption of innocence. It is the job of the
to
prosecution.
prove.
I hate to say this, his best bet, as sad as this sounds, you need criminals who admitted and were actually guilty of what they committed,
Somebody
admitted
has to
it,
confess.
and they turned their life around. That's honestly what you need. Someone who's seen both sides. I hate to say it, this fucker right here.
I
This
may
is
or
what
may
you
not be
need.
okay on the jury.
I mean, I've been on there's still shit cops, there's still good cops.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But you need someone who honestly sits there and
I
says,
don't even get Netflix. I'm okay. I can go
Yeah, no,
on the jury.
Paul's cool.
Paulie would actually be
Paulie
a guy I would
Manford.
trust.
Well, and the thing is,
He might call you a dumbass if he goes, retard. Hey, what the fuck?
but like we said,
After the evidence is.
Yeah.
like we said when we started, I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's innocent.
Say the trial
But
may
there's-
not have been fair.
Well, no, I'm
lot of
saying
questions.
definitively the trial was
wasn't
unfair.
fair.
Because with those
That's-
inflammatory statements
The
and the
statement
judge
he made.
refusing,
Yeah.
that press conference, Tim, my God,
The statement Kratz made before.
horrific and bloody detail. That was made up bullshit.
Yep.
Because you cannot stab someone in the stomach multiple times, cut their throat, and then shoot them 11 times and not leave a single fucking spot of blood evidence.
That was the other.
In a garage that looks like my basement.
Yep.
That's
Well, and that was the
Because
thing. They were
there's-
talking about blood splatter, and they're like, if she was shot in this garage, there's no fucking way they cleaned all of it.
Abby Shudo couldn't
No
have done it.
fuck yes. No fucking way.
And that's the thing. There's
Well, especially with this day and age.
and I said to
Moving
Michelle,
on. I mean, hello.
right? Well, I said to Michelle, I said, do you know how much DNA is in our house?
Oh, what?
Not even just. I mean, like my DNA is everywhere because I live there. But we come through your garage every week. All we have to do is step on something that has Tim's DNA, and we just carried it into our car, and then into the house. My dad hasn't been in my basement for 10 years, but I have shit that I've taken from his house, and I've been to his house and then walked into my basement. I bet you his DNA can be found down there. Maybe not a lot of it, but I bet you if you look, you
Oh
can
yeah,
find
if you
it.
look hard enough, you could find some.
You know, as you get older, you lose a lot more DNA than when you're younger. So he's probably got it plowing all over the
trail
floor.
that falls
Yeah,
behind
trail.
You of all people should actually be paying very close reread that book, and then come over and watch Netflix, because I might be having to bail your ass over here pretty quick.
Dropping evidence
No,
everywhere.
no, because Paulie will be smart enough to go, Tim, I got a problem.
Situation.
A situation. Tim, we have an opportunity. And then Tim knows people he can call up and go, hey, we have a situation. And then those people can call other people who
Now
are
you're
like,
gonna put the word
hey.
situation on the watch list. Come on.
If you like that video, watch our last one.
the difference between Let's Eat Grandma and Let's Eat Grandma. It's the difference between
Got that punctuation.
helping your Uncle Jack off a horse and helping your Uncle Jack off a horse.
Or watch this one.
The red stripes on the American flag are to represent the blood of American soldiers, not how much you like dick in your ass. Oh.
Wally's upset